a lot of the South Asian community from Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, a lot of them came over in the 50s to work in the north, Bradford and places like that. In the factories and the mills. My father was there for a while in Bradford, and then he moved down to Reading to work in a factory.
Is this why Bradford's got all the best curry houses?
Probably, yeah. It's got a very large South Asian community.
Yeah.
A very large community. So he came down in I think it was the 60s. He came down to Reading, and that's where we and my friends were born. And they all kind of moved into one certain area in the west part of Reading. So it's quite kind of like a close knit community, if you understand what I mean.
Did your father experience racism when he came?
Racism for them was normal,
Yeah.
and they never kind of like cared about it, if you understand what I mean. They just thought like, it's not our country, because they were making money to feed their families, literally, because they came from villages and things like that. So they felt it was part and parcel.
It was the cost of doing business.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, my father, he's told me some stories, people leaving like excrement outside the houses and things like that, like, I think that was very normal for the South Asian community at that time.
Because I grew up in my little town in between Liverpool and Manchester. Racist, homophobic. This is just what the town was like, back then. Punk rock, skinheads, all that stuff in the 80s, 70s, 80s.
I think it was more blatant in your face at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have you, but you got kicked out of school at age 15?
Yeah, so where we grew up, we all kind of went to school together, like all the same schools and things like that. I went to my first school with my friends, and I was there for about a year and got kicked out for misbehaving, things like that. I was about 12, and then I got sent to a majority white school, which was very racist. So I think the first day I walked in, I don't know if I could say it, but someone called me.
Oh, let's just say the P word or the N word.
I don't mind, it's cool.
Yeah, take that one out.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, someone called me like a racist slur the first day I walked in.
Yeah.
I believe it was my first day. And it was just like that. I don't think they were racist. I think it was just their environment. They wasn't used to different ethnic minorities going to school with them. So I got quite a lot of racism there, but I was never the type of person just to take it. I would always kind of talk back, and that probably got me in a bit more trouble. I was a bit rebellious as a kid. So as the years went by, how can I put it? You kind of fight your way to respect, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
So by the time kind of got to like the 4th, 5th year, it was okay, it was fine after that. I actually became friends with some of the people that were racist to me at the beginning.
Because they knew they couldn't take advantage of you or anything.
I don't think it was that. I just don't think they were racist.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? I just think like they grew up in a certain area, in a certain environment. It was more ignorance.
Ignorance, that's a better word.
Actual racism.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And I actually speak to some school friends to this day,
Yeah?
Yeah, actually good lads.
So, you did have beefs with skinheads then?
See, Reading has I'm not going to say no names, but it has a long history of close ties with Combat 18 and the National Front.
We've got to watch table tapping because it goes into this.
So yeah. Has a long history with the Combat 18 and the National Front. The story of that starts a bit before me.
Yeah.
Probably when I was really young, maybe before I was born.
Yeah.
Our elders, who were like 10, 15 years older than us, the community we came from, you have a community from Barbados. They're called Bajans. They actually have the biggest Bajan community outside Barbados is in Reading.
Yeah.
That's the actual fact.
Wow.
And they have a big South Asian community.
Yeah.
And these two communities suffered a lot of racism before I was born from the skinheads and Combat 18 and stuff like that, where there was a lot of physical fights and things like that.
Who were Combat 18 then?
I don't really know much about them myself because it's before my time, but they're kind of a far right racist group, like the National Front and things like that.
Yeah. You heard of them, James? Combat 18.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
really?
right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I don't really want to go into too much detail, but it has a long history of this, But the Bajans and the Asians kept fighting, And obviously, as the years went by, racism. It's kind of racism is a dying breed. Do you understand what I mean? So slowly, that group of racists kind of like disbanded, if you understand what I mean, and things like that. And that was before my time, though.
And the rave scene came and chilled them out, didn't it, as well?
Probably, yeah. The raves we used to go to, there wasn't many white people there.
Yeah.
If you understand what I mean. It was quite segregated like that because there's certain types of music and things like that. But going on to there 20 years later, like a lot of that racism is gone now.
Good.
Like a lot of it.
Yeah.
I think there's some groups trying to revive it, but I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
Things are very multicultural now,